What's up, people? I'm Wale Ogunleye, head of sports and entertainment at UBS. But before that, I spent 11 years in the NFL tackling quarterbacks. Today, I have the privilege of helping hundreds of athletes and entertainers grow their businesses and investment portfolios. Welcome to Level Up, where we explore different financial literacy topics to equip you with the knowledge you need to be financially fit. Let's get started. On today's episode of Level Up, we discuss navigating big decisions, something at one point in our lives we're all gonna have to do.
The first big purchase I made was a car last year. It felt really scary at first to put that much money down, but I think it was a good investment because now I can get around the city, so that's good.
On the fifth episode of Level Up, Navigating Big Decisions, we are joined by Austin Ekeler.
Ekeler, great move there, even more, all the way in for the touchdown.
Austin Ekeler is an NFL running back for the Los Angeles Chargers, recording 20 touchdowns and over 1,500 yards of total offense in the 2021 regular season.
Austin, what was the first big purchase you made?
So signing as an undrafted free agent, I think I had a signing bonus of $5,000. So, enough to pay, 1 month rent out in California. So what I was advised when I got to the league and what I heard from other players is just kind of keep everything that you earn from your first year within your means, right? Like keep everything as much as you can, just because you need to get a plan first before you start buying things. And yeah, that worked out, but I definitely needed a car.
First big decision I made as an NFL player was probably to buy a car. When I got to Miami Dolphins out of Indiana University, I had this rinky-dink car. I won't say what the name was, but I had to go, and I'm in a locker room full of Lamborghinis and Mercedes-Benzes, and I was like, man, I gotta find something to do, but I didn't have the money. So the question was, 1, do I lease or buy? And 2, do I lease or buy a car within my pay grade? That being said, I didn't get the Lamborghini.
So I actually still have my same car from my rookie year 5 years ago, which is a Chrysler 300 that I ended up buying. That was my first ever big purchase, I guess you could say. But other than that, I really had nothing else. As far as big purchases, I was just really working with my financial team.
For more information on this topic, let's hear from one of our advisors at UBS, Lamar Remy.
Thanks, Wale, for having me on this episode of Level Up, where we're talking navigating big decisions. My name's Lamar Remy, and I'm a client service associate at UBS. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to large financial or life decisions. It's an individual experience for everyone based on their current situation. One of the first big financial decisions you make may be whether you lease or buy a car. It's important to look at the pros and cons of both before you commit to either. Here are some of the pros of leasing: lower monthly payments, less cash required to drive off, lower repair costs. You might have the option to buy the car at the end of the lease, get to drive a newer, updated car, and you don't have to worry about selling the car at the end of the lease. Now let's look at some cons. Usually it costs more as you're leasing it during the time when it most rapidly depreciates. You're limited on the number of miles you can drive during the lease. Excess wear and tear can cost you. Most vehicles come with a standard warranty for X amount of miles, but when you purchase a car, the dealer will offer extended warranty beyond the manufacturer's expiration date. Here are some pros of buying a car. A car loan is more affordable than multiple leases back to back. When buying a car, you can get a lower interest rate on your car loan. You have the freedom to drive as many miles as you please, as well as make any changes to the car. And you can keep the car as long as you like. So now let's look at some cons. Loan payments are typically higher. You have to handle selling or trading your car on your own. And the car will depreciate the longer you own it.
How did you decide to make that big financial decision, Austin?
Yeah, so when making my first big purchase, as far as investments, it really came down to me feeling comfortable doing it. And how did I do that? So let me back up. I first had to educate myself a little bit. I've been wanting to buy some type of real estate, like investment property. Like I wanted to get a duplex or triplex. I knew I was going to go into that even before I got into the NFL. So I finally got the opportunity and had something presented to me as far as a multifamily. And There wasn't regret, but there was definitely like a fear.
My biggest decision, and I don't even want to admit this, but I bought a Bentley, GT Continental, 2-door, baby blue. Oh, it was so sweet. And the decision now was no longer buy or lease. I know I was going to buy it. So I went out and bought that car, paid cash for it, walked out the lot. That being said, my biggest decision at that time was to buy a car after I had signed my big contract. I could afford it at that time, but still, now that I look back at it, I should have just stayed with the car I had.
Almost like a buyer's remorse. It was like, okay, like I just purchased this thing. I get the concept of how the numbers work, of how you can get a management company to help you manage this thing, but it was my first one ever, so I had no idea what to expect or how it might go. And so I bought a duplex, and it was already rented out. It was from some people that were flipping houses, and that's actually where my connection started, because they had been flipping houses, and I got connected with them through my mother's real estate office, and just pulled the trigger on one of the duplexes. It's definitely like my worst performing one right now, because now I understand a little bit more. Just learning stuff the hard way as far as expensive and buying older properties, because it was definitely older property. But it was definitely a good learning point for me to actually buy. But yeah, it was definitely scary as far as like, this is gonna be a lot of my money, a lot of my net worth. And it's been working out all right. Not as good as I want to, but I've been learning and been able to build off that and apply that to other things and get better deals.
Did you know a major financial decision you may make later down the line is deciding when the right time is to start a family? Having children changes your world, so it should change your financial plan as well. Whether you're expecting or recently had a child, consider the following. Review your spending, name a guardian, coordinate your benefit elections with your spouse, update your beneficiaries, and start planning for education.
My favorite part of the show. Let's head to the street for the question of the day.
Wale, how do you know when you're ready to make a big financial decision?
When navigating big financial decisions, it's important to thoroughly think through the pros and the cons of each option you're considering, and whether you're financially ready for that big decision, such as buying a house or getting married. Here's one example, buying a house. Here's where you really need to do your research. A major thing you should consider is, can I afford the expenses that come with owning a home outside of the mortgage costs? You have repairs, insurance, accidents that add to the cost of owning a property. This is similar to buying versus leasing a car. We will dive deeper into this topic in episode 9, buying versus renting. For each major decision, doing research to figure out if you can financially afford it is most important. One helpful tool, the New York Times Buy versus Rent Calculator. On this episode of Level Up, we discuss navigating big decisions. You could either be buying a home, starting a family, or paying for college. At some point in your life, the time will come for you to make a big decision. We hope through this episode, you understand the importance of planning ahead and making sure that when you do pull that lever, make that decision, you're financially ready. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Level Up. We'll see you all next time.